meantime.
Okay.
There's some nice lights there. They're really
We don't have someone's.
Did you just hit your button? Was that
No, but-
Oh, Jolene did that.
Jolene
That
did
work?
something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
We can put our mics back now.
All right, we should unmute.
Mary, do you think anyone's going to join online like check on?
Not that I'm aware of.
All right, thanks everyone for joining us this evening. I'll call our meeting to order of the Ripon Area School District Board of Education. All right, we want to, well, our roll call, we have 5 members present tonight, which is a quorum. We want to affirm that the meeting has been appropriately noticed for the public. And we also like to start our meetings with stating our district vision. One of Wisconsin's finest school districts, fostering excellence for all through innovation. We do not appear to have any members of the public with us. Do we have any written comments tonight?
No.
And we do not have any written comments. All right. So our first item of business is adoption or adjustment of the agenda's order of items. Do we have any changes that we want to make with that? Okay, and it is my understanding that we do not have to vote on this, okay? All right, our next item is announcements of contributions to the district.
Absolutely. Alliance Laundry Systems donated 2 new scholarships, and those were provided through our Ripon Education Student Scholarship Program. Clips Tire and Battery submitted the 3rd installment of $2,000 for their $10,000 pledge for the Ingalls Field Group donation, and Webster's Marketplace gave their 3rd installment of $4,000 for their $20,000 pledge for Ingalls Field Group. Lee Prowitz donated, and actually I'll read a number here, and these are all donations for the Fbla Nationals. So Lee Prowitz, $1,200, Webster's United Food Services, $1,000, Ripon Rotary, $500, Ripon Education Association, $2,145, Gary and Cynthia Berger, $250, Rob and Kathy Webster, $250, AFK Corporation for $1,000, Fortified Bank, $250, Bruce Patrick, $1,000, and Horicon Bank, $1,600. So we're very, very appreciative of those donations, and I know our students especially appreciate that support.
All right, thank you to everyone for making those donations to the district. All right, under new business, our first item is electronic software change for Crossroads RHS.
I move to approve the electronic software change for Crossroads RHS as presented.
I'll second.
All right, so we have Gary making the motion, we have Andy with the second. Do we have any discussion on this item? Hearing none, we will take the vote. And the motion passes unanimously. Our next item of business, consider approval of bus cameras purchase. Can I have a motion to put this on the floor, please?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, Tom made the motion. Gary gave us the second. Do we have any discussion on this item?
Or anything that you want to just share, Jonah, because this is the first month that it's on for action right away.
Yeah, I do want to just clarify a couple things. The first thing I just wanted to clarify was that the board last approved bus cameras in October 2021 for Lamers buses, and that was a big success having the school buses have cameras. Principals and behavior interventionists, everybody was able to use the cameras to maintain order. And so it's a very, very positive thing to have on our school buses. When we ended our relationship with Lamers, we thought that we were going to own the cameras, we were going to be invoiced for them. They never invoiced us, so we never paid for those cameras. So Lamers decided to keep the cameras. So now we need to, with our new transportation provider, just have new cameras for their buses. They were expecting us to bring cameras because we thought we were going to. So yeah, that's what I wanted to clarify.
And the motion passes unanimously. Our next item of business is consider approval for free student breakfasts for 2022-2023. Can I have a motion to put this on the floor, please?
So move.
From Andy, and do we have a second?
Second.
From Tom. Do we have any questions, or Jonah, I see that you're still here. Was there something that you wanted to share with us?
I just wanted to clarify that because of this, it's likely that the food service fund would operate at a deficit for the year, but while we were under COVID and we received federal funding, we were able to build up fund balance significantly. And we think that, we're talking about helping students recover from the COVID pandemic, and offering them a free meal in the morning should reduce hunger, should have some positive benefits. And we're not promising, we wouldn't request at this time to extend it beyond a year. We could see how the fund does for a year of offering free breakfast. But we think that it would be a really good thing for students.
How many takers do we have for breakfast typically?
I have in that memo some estimates of what I think would happen. So if you look in that memo, it has an estimate from this last school year. It's tens of thousands of breakfasts served. And so if you look in the memo, you can kind of see what I would expect offering free breakfast like we do now. The participation, the meals served. And so for most of the meals, we would be serving them and spending money. We wouldn't have revenue to match the expense. But like we said, we've done really well these last few years with federal funding for our meal programs, and it would allow students to have one free meal a day. So,
Any other questions? All right, seeing none, we'll take a vote. And the motion passes unanimously.
Just as an aside, Jonah did spend time working with our food service provider to revamp the breakfast, add more meals, improve nutritional value, decrease sugar where possible. So I think as families see the menus come out this year, I think they're going to be pleased with those changes as well. We've got fruit smoothies on there and the overnight oatmeal. It's just, it just is a really, really nice menu, so we're excited about that.
Our next item of business, consider approval of increased RHS yearbook fee. Can we have a motion to put this on the floor?
I move to approve a high school yearbook fee of $55 for the 2022-2023 school year.
And do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Tom. Any questions? All right, hearing none, we'll take a vote. And the motion passes unanimously. Consider approval of teacher overload pay for 2022-2023. Can we have a motion to put this on the floor, please?
So moved.
From Andy, and do we have a second?
Second.
From Josh, thank you. Any questions or conversation around this?
So I appreciate the teachers willing to do that.
Any other questions?
But the person doing the home, was the family,
The face
the
courses,
face,
yep.
was she doing that for free?
She did that this past year, and we were monitoring number of students that were in there and her other workload, because she works as a counselor. It's not a teacher with, you know what I mean, it's not as clear cut as the teacher that has so many sections and you know their schedule. So we wanted to monitor that this year and see how it went, because it is Odyssey and her workload with those students. And so now as we look back and we look at the workload and the number of students in those courses, we feel that it's appropriate to do that, and so now have planned to continue that for next year.
Yeah, I mean, I was impressed that she was willing to do that, and I'm glad it's worked out.
Okay, any other conversation? Hearing none, we'll vote. And it passes unanimously. Our next item of business, consider approval of a pupil services and mental health grant coordinator assistant position. Can we have a motion to put this on the floor?
So moved.
Second.
From Andy and from Gary. Any questions, any conversation around this? Seeing none, we will take a vote. And the motion passes unanimously. Our next item of business is consider approval to hire professional staff. Can we have a motion to put this on the floor, please?
Yeah, I move to approve Julie Jens for the K-12 music teacher position and Callie Mendleski as a first grade flex teacher for 22-23 school year.
Do we have a second, please?
Second.
And that's from Tom. Any questions or discussion around this?
What's a flex teacher?
You know, the reason that Tanya words it that way is because she was trying to balance whether they would need to be in Journey or if they would be at Barlow Park Charter. And so she says kind of that lets them know that your position is the one that needs to be flexible. If we need more teachers at one school versus the other, you would be the first person we would ask to move if we didn't have a volunteer.
Thank you.
We ask all our teachers to be flexible in general, but that one's just a little bit more so. It was so exciting to talk to Callie. She was waiting to pass her report test, which she did, obviously, for those great early literacy skills. But because she's a part of the Barlow Park Charter team, as a brand new teacher, she's looking to leave to go to Australia to learn about the new model and method and what they're doing and bring it back for the charter school. So she's very excited and has said that she has a number of teachers she's worked with already in other districts that are already wanting to schedule time with her to learn from her when she comes back. So a very a very cool opportunity, and she's very excited about it.
All right, do we have any other conversation around this?
I said, is this a hard position to fill? What if we have 3 postings?
I think finding the right person for the position, but we do have a special ed and art position right now that we're looking to fill, so I'm going to throw that out there if someone's listening.
Okay.
Those are still open right now.
All right, I'll call for the vote. And it passes unanimously. It's great that we're able to fill our positions as easily as well, I know it's a lot of work, I shouldn't use the word easily, but that we seem to be ahead of the curve in filling our positions
Yeah,
compared to some of the
absolutely.
other districts.
And I gotta tell you, we have really solid candidates that we're bringing in, even though in some cases it feels like you have a handful of candidates, and as you call them for interviews, they're slipping through your fingers for other
Yeah.
positions. So we appreciate the board's willingness to continue to support through payroll and some of those benefits and things as well, because that makes all the difference.
Our next item is approval of the consent agenda. Do we need any changes to the consent agenda? Okay, and yes, we do need to vote on this, don't we? All right, do we have a motion to put this on the floor?
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Thank you, Gary, thank you, Andy. And I will call for the vote. And the motion passes unanimously. Our next item of business is Superintendent Reports.
And just a couple things on there. We always put that general legislative update. There isn't anything new to report. I did attach the WASB resolutions. I know you received copies of those, but it's nice to have it recorded within the board minutes for others to see, or for us to go back and look at. And then I did put on the school board operating calendar, giving you an idea of what you will see come to the board in closed session and in monthly, kind of the annual things that fall in certain months. There's always new items that come as well. But then also I put on the work session calendar, so it'll be very similar to last year. The only thing I did do was I took out the August one because we're having these 3 engagement sessions. And knowing that we went through our strategic planning process, we'll look to work with our teams for those goals and bring those to you in September. Otherwise, that calendar looks very similar as well.
All right.
We've got our roadmap for the year.
All right, thank you for that, Dr. Whitlock. Business-related reports, general fund interim budget report.
I was just going to say that the budget is holding up pretty much as expected, and so no big surprises at this time. We're still going to close out the year. We have yet to close out the year. We're still paying invoices that are from last year, and receiving some revenue from the state as well from some of the grants. But things are going well as far as how the year ended for both the general fund and the food service fund.
All right, so anything further to add for the food service?
Food service fund is doing better than expected. We did receive some grants. The state gave us $28,000 to expand breakfast programming. They awarded it at the end of this last school year. That's part of how we're thinking. We want to spend that $28,000 as part of the the $76,000 we're spending from fund balance to offer free breakfast in this coming school year. So we received that grant, $28,000. That was applied for by our previous food service director, Michelle Picard. So that was pretty awesome. And then we received a couple of other smaller grants, like little grants that were just for like PEBT, because we were reporting our free and reduced students who were out because of COVID, and just a few little grants that helped as well. And then in addition to that, Aramark increased participation compared to Avion. So we had more student meals that were being served, and we were having net revenue on all the meals that were served. So that helped build up the fund balance too. So.
Excuse me for just a second, I'm gonna get a bottle of water.
Can I ask a question about the overall budget? Do you have a feel yet for the impact of higher energy costs on the district budget?
Yeah, I could do like kind of a special thing on that. I can't tell you exactly right now. I know that when we started the year, we didn't budget enough money for energy costs because we try to have a conservative budget. We try to have margin built into our projection, but because the energy costs increased so much, we didn't have enough budgeted originally. I think we ended after we revised the budget in April. I think we allocated enough there so that our utilities overall had enough budgeted to match actual, but yeah, that we're going to have to going forward budget more than we wanted to. Even as we've become more efficient with more LED lighting and more high efficiency boilers, we are, even despite that, we're going to have increased costs that we're going to have to budget for.
I know we're working with an energy broker, right?
Yes.
Has that been helpful in terms of responding to those changes, do you think?
Honestly, I do not believe it's helped us. We've probably come out slightly ahead compared to the utility with Alliant, but we're exploring another provider to try to do better than what we've done with the co-op that we're a part of. We're part of a co-op, but we would have done just about the same over the past 3 years if we would have been with Alliant Energy.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion on these items? All right, in that case, we will move on to the Odyssey Academy performance measures and end of year report and school operations report. Any questions?
And just, during the summer, we don't do our regular school operations report, but as our charter schools complete these larger reports as part of their charter grant requirements, I just think it's nice for you to see they do a lot of work and they've met all the requirements and things are going well. So.
Okay, thank you. For our next item of business, we will convene to closed session. Can I please have a motion to put that on the floor? Thank you,
Second.
Josh. Thank you, Josh. I think Andy was just ahead of you, Gary. So seconded by Andy. And then we'll call for the vote. And the motion passes unanimously, and we will go into closed session.